Good morning. My name is Javon Pera, and I am pleased to be able to present with you today Orange County Medical Association's offering for you through me, which is Get Clear, Get Results. So today is going to give you an opportunity to maybe for you as a physician, or maybe some of your staff, or whoever you want to learn the concepts of how do you get new results. How do you go past what you've done before, leaning on the things you know, which if you only lean on what you've always known, you're going to get what you've always had in the future. So how do you get new results? So here's some concepts that I've been using. I've been teaching for a lot of years. I've been a corporate trainer, haven't always been in the home loan business. But today I am at Bank of America, and I want to be able to share some concepts with you. So how do you get new results? So really wonderful for staff unity, really wonderful for particular goals, whether it's money goals, whether it's organization goals, whether it's interpersonal goals. This material will really be helpful. So we'll run through it here. This was a live workshop that I've made into a webinar here. So what the people throughout all time that have had the hugest impact, why is it that they have created such huge impact way past just a particular goal, like a money goal or a company goal, really changing the world? And I think that's really important when it comes to identity. is who you are supporting the goals that you have. And so that's the conversation we're going to have today, not as much of a matrix of do this activity this many times on a daily basis and you're going to get, this amount of money, you're going to get this amount of client or patient retention or patient survey increase or whatever it is. But more, how do I become the person I've always wanted to be that naturally gets the results? So that's my goal, to be able to help you get a genius that you weren't aware of to flow through you. And it starts with who you choose to be, and then how do you effectively communicate it? And this could be literally for anybody. So this was a 3-month coaching program. So we're going to try to get it in way less than an hour. I'm going to try to get to 20 minutes or so. So hold on, going to go fast. With that, requirements. The only thing that's required really is that you just be willing to try. Just be willing. You got to do it. That requirement 2 is this: you do it until it works, and for its own sake. So being the person you always wish you can be and engaging with everybody in your life the way that you wished you can be engaged and treated is wonderful. When you think of Colonel Sanders, he started in his 60s with just a Social Security check as income, and he bet it all on his special recipe, herbs and spices. And he went through so many hundreds, I think thousands of over 1,000 failures of people saying no to his offer of use my special recipe of herbs and spices, and all you got to do is pay me a nickel for everything you sell. Everybody said no, 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 until he got a couple yeses. And as you know, the success story, Kentucky Fried Chicken, is a huge success story. So how long do you have to do a change until it works? Well, you do it until it works. There's really no set amount of time. And what are people looking for? What is the people you work with, the people who work for you, your family, all those people, these kind of people in your life? Who are they looking for? Well, we all really need a hero advisor, and that's the person who really will create change in the life around them. So what a hero advisor does, when we're wanting new results, it's way better to start with who you are, and in this order of get clear on who you choose to be. That really starts the whole process, and I'll get more clear on what I mean by that. So get clear on who you choose to be, get clear then on what you choose to do in your profession, in your life, and then get clear on the results that you want to have. So let's look at those one by one. The current paradigm, or the current way that our world, especially Western culture, has it is we do something. You can see in the diagram here, we do something over and over and over again until you have a certain result. which is what comes next. And then you get to be successful. You get to be happy. So I'm going to work really hard, do a bunch of work so I can have the money. And then once I have the money, then I can be successful, then I can be happy, then I can be free. The challenge with that is if the have ever gets taken away, your identity is in jeopardy. You can literally lose it all and be miserable. Work your whole life and lose it all. In 2007 and 8, that happened to a lot of people, and then even before that. So having this paradigm of having your identity and your self-worth and your satisfaction, your fulfillment directly tied with what you have is perilous, to say, at least perilous. It makes it at risk of your fulfillment. But there's another way, though. You think, well, that's just how it works. Well, there's another way. And this way is like this. First, you choose who you're going to be. I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to be generous. I'm going to be skilled. I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to be detailed. I'm going to be happy. Could be a choice, right? And then you do the things that are in line with that after you've chosen to be who you want to be at the end. Think of who that perfect version after you have everything you want. Who's that person going to be? Well, you basically can pretend to be that person now. Now you do the work that you need to do to, last step, have the goals. Why is that different? Well, in this model on the right, if you lose everything you have, well, the identity, your self-worth, your fulfillment, you already have the feeling because of your, it's who you are. And you can start over a lot easier. You can lose everything and gain everything and back and forth with a lot more fluidity, and you become bulletproof. Nothing can phase you, nothing can hurt you, because whatever was taken away, it doesn't have anything to do with your self-worth. And you might find that you lost everything you thought you wanted, and you're like, thank God it's out of here. That was a lot of work, less stress. So let's dig into this a little bit more. B. So what is reality? Focus and words and actions really creates the reality that we're looking around, getting esoteric here, I know. But what is the world? Where does the meaning come from the world that you see? Someone would say reality is, it's hard. It's a hard world out there, or it's a friendly world out there, or it's a dog eat dog world out there. It's just the reality. That's how it is. So this experience that we're having really comes from our focus, the words we use, and the action that we have. It creates this experience. My sister and I, who, of course, grew up together. We would both walk into the same room of people we didn't know. My personality was more gregarious, open, and I would see a room full of friends. And she was more protective. She's a wonderful, wonderful sister that would protect everyone in her small circle, and everyone else she's kind of cautious of, want to be protective. So she saw a room full of people she had to be cautious of, possibly enemies, until they won acceptance. And I saw a group of friends instantly. Boom. So if you imagine the different experience we both had when we walk into a room of strangers, completely opposite. So it comes from focus, words, and action. So here's an example of focus. So here's an exercise if you'll play along with me. And this exercise is going to go with what you're focusing on. So this is an awareness
test. How many passes does the team in white make?
So count how many passes the team in white is making.
The answer.
What was the answer? So more important than the answer is what you didn't see. You find what you look for and you miss the rest. So this is the example I'm using. So let's watch the video again and see the thing that you missed. Question is, did you see the moonwalking bear? You might say, what? Yeah, the moonwalking bear. Let's watch it again. Same video.
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Rewind it. Notice from the right side of the screen, a bear in black. There he is, bear costume. Right in the middle, going off to the left, the moonwalking bear. Now, why didn't you see the moonwalking bear? Because if you're like most people, you did not see that moonwalking bear. The reason is you find what you look for and you miss the rest. So what are the implications when we're talking about goal setting, when we're talking about getting clear and achieving unprecedented results in your life and your business? The reason is if you look for the reasons things are going to fail, you're going to find that. If you look for the reasons that things are going to succeed, you're going to find that. If you look for how the world is unfriendly, you're going to find that. If you look for how everyone is your friend and wants to help you, you're going to find those too. Your focus is the first step that's so important on what your reality is. The second one is words. What are the power of words? Well, you can reverse engineer your beliefs because your beliefs, we're going to back up a little bit. Your beliefs is just a thought that you got planted in your head, maybe when you were a toddler, and that thought kept on repeating itself and became a belief. And the belief really will determine often what the words you say out of your mouth. You can determine people's beliefs by just listening to their words. Are their words are fearful? Well, they have fearful beliefs. Are their words hopeful and open to change? Well, listen to their words. If you start to choose your words according to the beliefs that you wished you had, you can actually reverse engineer it and start planting new thoughts that once again, your subconscious mind will take and start to turn around and become a belief. You can force or choose the different belief by just choosing different words that you say. So here's an exercise called the hero card. And I'll explain it to you. All I want you to do is write your top 5 heroes down, write your top 20 characteristics that you admire about those heroes. And then the third thing is, and here's my hero traits. So the third thing is you're going to choose your top 5. That's the third thing. So you can pause the video right here. What you want to do is, who are your top 5 heroes? Now these could be anybody. Top 5 heroes. You want to write 5 characteristics for each of the 5 heroes. And if you email me, Javon Pera is my name. You can email me at javonpera@gmail. It's probably an easy way to email. I can email you a worksheet for this. But what are the 5 heroes? So I'm thinking in my life, you got Gandhi, we have Nelson Mandela, you have Jesus, you have Bill Gates. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's no rhyme or reason on why these people are heroes, but they're just people that you think are amazing for whatever reason, inspire you for the way they've lived or maybe what they accomplished or whatever. So who are those 5 people that come to mind? And then what are 5 traits that in particular make them what you would consider a hero? And then 5 for each of them, that's 25, actually, 25 traits. And now write them down. And then what you want to do after you write them down, because right here I have a bunch, right? Faithful, successful, totally independent of the good or bad opinion of others, a man or woman of impact, doing what they're afraid to do, grateful, creative, tenacious, confident, decisive, proactive, inspired, disciplined, all kinds of things. So write them down. And then what you want to do is you pick your top 5. So pick your top 5 characteristics, circle them. And what you want to do is write them down and carry those top 5, that hero card, carry that top 5 around with you wherever you go. Read those top 5 characteristics and remind yourself that that's who you are now. And then you ask yourself, what would this hero do? I'm proactive, inspiring, disciplined. I do what I'm afraid to do. The buck stops here. Let's say those are your 5. Those are some 5 that I use. Now, if the buck stops here, meaning I'm responsible, I'm not going to pass the blame. Well, everything that comes my way is an opportunity to make a difference. Everything. So it makes me instantly that hero that I wished I could be in little things. Because if you do these, you become this hero in the little things, then those little things add up and they become, wow, a big thing. You're a hero to the world, or you're a hero to your family, or you're a hero to your staff, or you're a hero to fill in the blank. It's incredible, simple, powerful. So there, as you go, we have the focus, we have words, and then we have actions. Those three things make up your reality in this case. So let's look at actions. There's a psychologist, she studied body languages, shapes, and as your body language engage the world, that also totally shapes your experience, shapes who you are, she said. Her name's Amy Cuttle. So she did some studies on just poses, the way that we hold ourselves and how it affects. So there's high power poses and then there's low power poses. So here's some high power poses. And notice that all the poses are open posture, high power pose, open posture, high power pose, open, open. Now there's low power poses too, and these have shown to bring weakness and cause protection and make people feel more fearful and take them out of influence, really. So notice they're crossing, they're covering up, almost like they're protecting themselves from a blow, attack that's coming. Low power, cover the back of the neck, closed off, and they have a difference. So then she had people hold these positions, either a high power pose, which are all open, and the low power poses, which are all closed. And she tested some things. She tested risk tolerance with a dice game, and she found that 87% of the high power pose test subjects that had the higher risk tolerance came from the high power poses. Basically, you have a higher risk tolerance when you just hold yourself in these high power poses, open. She found that cortisol levels were they're far lower in the high power pose test subjects, meaning that if you hold yourself open, these high power poses, the cortisol or the stress hormone is lower. You're less stressed. She also found that these high power pose versus the low power pose, the high power poses had higher testosterone levels, man and woman, which means it naturally makes you more decisive, more proactive, more aggressive often, right? To get what you want done, just from holding a different posture. Crazy, right? So a 2-minute power pose can make you more confident. Just pretending, basically fake it till you make it. Well, sure. Well, fake it till you become it is another one. Tiny tweaks in the words you use, in the focus that you have, what you're looking for, and then how you hold your body make big changes. So act as if you were the person that would accomplish your goal before you accomplish it. Act as if. Adopt that powerful position and become the hero. Make your own reality. So do. So we got, remember we have who you're going to be, now what you're going to do. So here is a great thing that you can do. Once again, email me at javonkara@gmail and I can give you the worksheet for this, the little workbook. And here's how it works. Hero Advisor's requirements. Really, all you really need is authenticity. You're going to be authentic. You're going to say what your real intentions are. Not going to try to trick people. You need a core competence. So if you're a physician, you need to know medicine, right? Of course. If you're a nurse, again, you need to know your job. If you're a realtor, you know how to buy and sell a house and so on. So just a core competence. Now that's a minimum requirement. And anybody who wants to know how to do something, it's not hard to find. You just got to do the work. I mean, it's all online. Get a mentor, do the work. And then, but to be a hero advisor, number 3 is you need to be committed to help your ideal clients. You're committed to actually do good, not just do the thing, but also to really want to help. You want their life to be better, because if you're a realtor, for example, you sell a house to somebody, it's not a good deal. Well, you could sell the house efficiently, but if you're giving bad advice on real estate investment, and you know bad advice, well, I wouldn't call that person a hero. So authenticity, core competence, and a commitment to truly help somebody. And then what? So don't censor your thoughts on this exercise. How do you communicate that you do and that you are the hero advisor and what you want to do? So this exercise just requires, don't censor your thoughts. This exercise we're going to do, it's not just about your business. Know that too. It's about you. And let's go to the hero revealer. So I want to go over here to the hero revealer. Let me go to our worksheet, and we're going to go to the hero revealer. Okay, so here's the worksheet. What you want to do is on a sheet of paper, you want to write out as many things as you can. And I'm going to say, what do I have here? At least 8. But if you got more, keep on going. Have you ever found a shortcut or a better way to get results that others couldn't find in your profession, in your life? Actually, either way, it would work. Have you ever solved a problem that was beyond your family, your friends, your coworkers? You solved it. And think of problems that you solved. Have you ever found a way, third bullet here, have you ever found a way to make something work that wasn't working before? In family life, at work? Have you ever made a connection with someone that was out of reach for everyone else? Maybe you were able to get 2 people to work together. Maybe you were to help somebody meet someone that they wanted to meet. Whatever it was. Maybe it's teaching somebody. So what you want to do is list a bunch of things like that on a paper. And then once you do, I want you to get clear on the value that it brought. So here's some examples. Example number 1, I've been running my business for the last 5 years. So the value brought real life experience in this industry, understand what it really takes to succeed. Example number 2, I've interviewed the top gurus in my field, the people that are the best. So what value is that? Well, I have connections, one, and I've learned beliefs, the systems, and habits that make unbelievable success. Great. Number 3, I've been a member of my national association for the last 5 years. Great. So that's the thing that you did. What's the value? Well, I know what is wanted and needed in our industry. I know the industry leaders, and I make sure that I'm always on top to keep my clients current and to be able to serve at a high level. Not maybe you're number 1 salesperson, number 1 provider in your company. You learn what it takes to have uncommon success, and even on a personal level, right? Maybe it was I was a stay-at-home mom for 9 years with my 2 kids. And what does it take? Well, I know what it's like to perform in crippling stress and pressure while delivering commitments in a loving and positive and creative manner. That's what I was able to give. So you list them out. So basically on one side, what are the normal and extra normal things that you've done in your business, in your life? And then right next to it, I want to know what the value was that it brought. Now, why would that be important? So stories are really important. Here's why they're important: for you to get really clear about your stories and then be able to share them when the moment that you're trying to persuade or the moment you're trying to work with somebody. What it does is it turns off the part of your brain that resists and fights, and it turns on the part of your brain that will be open. Part of your brain that resists is called the amygdala. It's really in the center of your brain. It's really there to look for danger, to protect you. And so it's always looking for what can go wrong. The part of your brain that has to do with learning and even imagining what things will be like in the future, for example, in planning, is right in the front of your head, called the prefrontal cortex. Those 2 things don't operate fully at the same time. So if you're telling a story, what happens is for people to understand your story, that fear center turns off and the prefrontal turns on. And that same part that has to be on to understand your story is the part that is on for learning. And they're finally hearing your words. And so it could be any story. This is a great example or exercise on having some stories to tell, but it really could be any story. You could be trying to get someone to sign some papers, and you say, listen, my 3-year-old never wants to try the foods that I give them, even though I think he's going to love them. And he'll say no, because it's just unfamiliar to them. But then, once in a while, he'll actually try it and love it. It's because he was scared of what he thought was going to happen, and it ended up being nothing like what really happened for him. Now, some of those things are his favorite foods. Now, for you, I would like you to, and then Just a random story like that. So this is going to help you have some stories that you can pull out. It's really good for helping people's brains turn on, and it's also good for influencing. So once again, here we are, and the next step is going to be have what you have. So we've discussed who you want to be. So important to determine who you want to be and having those 5 characteristics and asking yourself, what would that person do? And taking those 5 characteristics from your heroes. And then what are you going to do? How are you going to engage in the world, being intentional, acting, and being able to communicate what you do in a way that you're also communicating the value when you're talking to some people. And then what do you want to have? That's what we're talking about right now. So once you get to this point, the process of getting whatever you want, it's fairly simple. 1, decide what you want. 2, write it down. 3, focus, speak, and act in alignment until you get it. Here's some tips. Don't set your goals too low. The easy crowd, it's just not a fulfilling crowd to be in. Another one, don't sell out. Judas got the money. Do you know the story of Judas? Not a success story. He wasn't happy when he got what he wanted. Why? Because he sold out. He was trying to go after his goal in a way that just didn't work. He was unhappy with himself. How high does a tree grow? Well, when it comes to your goals, when it comes to trees, both the same, tree grows as high as it can. And so keep on achieving as much as you can, just for the sake of it's fulfilling to keep going. Whenever you stop, well, that's when your fulfillment will also start to diminish. So keep on going for the sake of that you can. And if you choose who you want to be and the meaning of what you're doing first, it's going to be fulfilling. So the first step to unhappiness, doing a little bit less than you can. Go for it. Also, be aware of who you become as you pursue what you want, or beware. What type of person do I have to be to get everything I want? Good question. Who do I have to become? Remember, that's the first B. So here's the exercise on half. What do I want within the next 1 to 10 years? Write 50 things out. And if you really want to go for it, what I did, I wrote 100 things. Now, what this does for you is it goes past the normal things that pop up in your head that you already know about yourself that you want. You have to write 100 things down, or 50. It's going to cause you to go past your normal and dig deep, maybe bring up some things that you've given up on that you didn't have to give up on, but you did for various reasons. So get 50 things on paper. What are the things that you want to have? And then step 2, categorize them. I want you to categorize them in year goals. Is it a 1-year goal? Is it a 3-year goal? Is it a 5-year goal? Or is it a decade? Is it a 10-year goal? Categorize them all. Then pick your top 8. I would say 2 from each category. And then of those 8, pick your top 3. What are your top 3 top goals of all the ones that you picked, and write a short paragraph on why they're important to you. Tip here too, if your top 3s is a 3, 5, or a 10-year goal, make sure you chunk them down into parts so that you can have a 1-year portion of the 3 or the 5 or the 10-year goal, because you can't do a 10-year goal in a year. Right? You can start right now, but you can't accomplish it, of course. So you want to chunk them down. So here's my 10-year goal. I'm sorry, my 100 list, 100 goals. Some of these I've accomplished already. Some of them I haven't. If you want this list, if you want the workbook, once again, email me. Personal email is javonera@gmail.com. Get them out of your head, floating around on the paper. Something magical about just that. So then once you have everything done, remember from the beginning, your B's, your do's, your haves, it becomes a bold vision, big, outrageous, loud, it's declaring it for the universe. And write them down. So step 1 for the B, put your 5 characteristics and make it into a sentence. I am, and put those characteristics into that sentence, right there in the sentence. Step 2, the do's has 2 parts. Remember there are 2 parts in the hero activity exercise. what you've done that made a difference, and then what was the value in it. So I help the world buy, you plug in what you've done. And so that they can have, you plug in the value for those activities. It helps you to explain and articulate and give to others quickly so that they can receive what you're trying to give them. And then three, what are the top three halves that you have? And put them here. I'm here to create. Put your top three goals in there in order to continue to help the world with my bold vision. So here's mine. My bold vision, big, outrageous, loud, declared. I am a man of impact, independent of the good or bad opinion of others. Thankful, act on what would love do, and I do what I'm afraid to do. Love, that's who I am. And I help my world by keeping myself in love and fighting for people's dreams with them so that they can have a better life and maybe a new mortgage. I'm a mortgage lender, so I do these things. So, and I'm committed to create, here's my top three, a best-selling book, thriving mortgage business, and $10 million saved up in order to continue to help the world with my bold vision. Ta-da! So that's it. And now living as if. So you get that thing on paper and you can say to yourself, that's just not me. Okay, that's nice, but that's not me. So how do I change? How do I metamorphosize, right? From the caterpillar to the butterfly. Well, here's an example. You really just got to start. You got to just act as if it were true. You got to pretend, fake it until you become it. And that's the process. I mean, that's how you became what you are now. You just think that's who you are now because you've been doing it so long. You don't think there was a process of it doesn't feel right. But I mean, look at a baby. Everything is super awkward. They're learning it all. So here's an example of one person that started a big movement and what it could look like for you.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out, you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. Three is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come two more people, then three more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is over-glorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
Amazing. So this is it. Thank you so much for watching. Just know that this is for you. This is this is wherever you're at, and you meaning whoever you are, physician, nurse, office manager, uh, realtor, pie maker, baker, mortgage professional, whoever it is. It's a matter of who do you want to be, and then what would that person do, and then the results that you have. It's just a cherry on top because you already have a fulfilling life right where you're at, and it makes accomplishing things actually easier if you do it in that order. Hope this was really helpful for you. Again, my name is Javon Para, and let me reach out to me if I could get you the workbook. I'll give my email, javonpera@gmail.com, JEVONPERRA@gmail.com. It's my personal one, so I'll send it to you, and hope everything goes well for you in the future.